mythology has come from the word myth, and hence I do not connect our stories of like the Mahabharata, the Ramayana as mythology. I actually see it as history. What is your take on it?
So, Sparsh, I think our scriptures are very clear in that respect, wherein a lot of them are stories of a bygone era of previous days of Brahma. And for us, there's actually no way to check the historicity of those stories. But whatever has happened in the present day of Brahma, especially closer to a timeline, that definitely is possible to explore. And that is why our scriptures are also divided into, Shruti, Smriti, and Itihas. And Itihas is what, Ramayana and Mahabharata are termed as. So these two scriptures, I definitely believe, are historical. And, of course, there would be some embellishments for making the story a little more appealing, to the audience, etc. But they're primarily historical texts. The others, like the Purans, which are based in previous days of Brahma, and some of them are even based in the future. So I feel, there's, as a man of science, there's no way for me to judge whether they are historical or whether they are truth, absolute truth or not, right? So therefore, I generally like to follow the middle path, and I believe that a lot of it is history, and a lot of it actually is stories which are meant to impart certain lessons
Yes.
to us, and there's no way that we can judge whether they are historical events or not. So I believe in following a middle path, and not going to the extremes.
I see. Sir, you talked about three divisions: Shruti, Smriti, and Itihas. Are these divisions on the basis of timelines? As if itna se itna hua, so it comes under Itihas. Okay.
Right. In a way, yes, based on the timeline as well, and also based on the content. So like the Vedas and their ancillary texts, they are called Shruti because they were heard by the
Okay.
seers, by the rishis. So they did not compose the verses themselves. Whereas the later literature, it was penned down, it was composed by somebody, and the Purans are composed by Ved Vyas. All the 18 Mahapurans have been written by Ved Vyas, except Vishnu Puran, which was actually narrated by his father Parashar. So, we know the authors of these Purans. These are people who have written down what happened in the previous eons. So, these were events which were not visualized. These were written down from memory. That is why they're called Smriti. And Shruti is the Vedas and the ancillary texts because they came to the seers as visions. And they were not created by any person. They are called Aparushya because they have come from the Brahman, from the universe. And that's one of the bases of divisions. And Itihas, of course, is the epics, which are primarily Ramayana, Mahabharata. And there's also another text called Harivansh, which deals with the life of Krishna and his dynasty, which is also considered a part of the Itihas. But majorly, the division is based on content as well as how it was written down.